Now called to order. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Corman?
Here.
Mr. Prince?
Here.
Ms. Witchy?
Here.
Mr. Person? Mr. McIrvin?
Here.
Ms. Perez?
Here.
Mr. Pavoni?
Here.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, one absent.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr.
I
Corman.
move the absent council member be excused.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Corman, seconded by Mr. Pavoni, that Councilmember Person be excused. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. First item on the agenda this evening is a very special proclamation.
Okay, this proclamation is regarding Sikh Heritage Day. Whereas Sikh Americans have made important contributions to the social, economic, and cultural fabric of our city, and whereas Renton is one of the world's most multicultural cities and home to people from all over the world, and whereas Renton prides itself on being a city where people of all faiths and cultures are welcomed, respected, and able to live in harmony with each other. And whereas during the month of April, the Sikh community celebrates Vaisakhi, also known as Khalsa Day, which marks the beginning of the harvest season in the Sikh New Year. And whereas events such as this celebrate the rich cultures and traditions that contribute to the unique character of our city. Now, therefore, I, Dennis Law, Mayor of the City of Renton, do hereby proclaim April 14th, 2016 to be Sikh Heritage Day in the City of Renton, and I encourage all citizens to join me in this special observance. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Renton to be affixed this 11th day of April, 2016. And it is signed by Mayor Dennis Law.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Corman.
I move that council concur in the proclamation.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Corman, seconded by Mr. Prince, that council concur with this proclamation. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Preeti, would you like to come forward?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council President, Council members. I'm Preeti Sridhar, and it's my great honor to give this proclamation to Satvinder Kaur and also representing other members of the Sikh temple that's right here in Renton to receive this and to have wonderful celebration of Vaisakhi this year. Satvinder, if you can say a few words, and then we'd like to take a photo with everybody from
Yes,
the
thank
community.
you. Thank you very much, council members and mayor. I have a young man here who would like to speak on behalf of our Sikh community.
Okay, hello. My name is Noordeep Singh. Prepared a little small speech over here. Thank you to the mayor and city council. We appreciate this chance to talk about Sikhism. This proclamation is to celebrate the birth of Khalsa. On this day, 5 Sikhs were selected, Sikhs meaning learners, to be baptized and become part of Khalsa, our community. Sikhism believes in serving humanity and working hard and working an honest life. This can be seen at any Sikh temple. Free food is prepared for anyone and anywhere to anyone who wants to visit the temple. Anyone is welcome, and we encourage everyone to try out and be part of this community. Thank you.
And I would like to invite all of you to join me this Sunday at noon. Councilmember Up the Grove will be there presenting a proclamation on behalf of King County. I know Councilmember Perez is going to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
much.
and thank you for being here this evening.
If we could get members of the community and the council to stand together so we can take a photo, please.
Should we stand back here?
Be in the picture.
Oh, are you?
No, I'll stand in this gap.
So you want to show the proclamation?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is a very special presentation from the Police Department. Chief Milosevic.
Good evening, Mayor Law, Council President Corbin, members of the council, and the viewing audience. I would like to thank you for this opportunity this evening to recognize several members of the Renton Police Department. I will start with some recent and future promotions and then end with our annual employee recognition process. As you're all aware, with the recent retirements and future retirements, we are in the process of promoting several members into new leadership positions. I will start off with those first being promoted to sergeant.
Chief, can I interrupt you for just 1 minute? Any family members that would like to take photos are welcome to come up here in the front or in the back here. And so feel free, if you're not shy, to come up. Go ahead, Chief.
The rank of sergeant is the most important leadership position in law enforcement. It's the position that has the greatest impact on the influence of the officers and how we serve our community. Before we get started, if you notice the officers in the back, they look a little bit different. We're slowly transitioning over to the navy blue uniform and away from the two-tone blue uniform that we've had for about 40 years. This is primarily due to Seattle going away from the same uniform, so that other uniform is no longer in supply. And so this is the new uniform, what we call the Class A of the Renton Police Department. So first, I'd like Sergeant Jason Trader to come forward. Sergeant Trader has been with the department for over 18 years, with the majority of that time spent in patrol. Jason was teamed up with his K-9 partner Boss for about 8 years and was responsible for 155 successful applications. Jason is known for his quiet and calm demeanor under the most difficult and stressful situations. Jason was promoted to sergeant on January 1st and is assigned to one of our graveyard shifts in patrol. Congratulations, Jason. Can I have Sergeant Pete Cordell come forward? Sergeant Cordell has been a member of the police department for 24 years. He spent almost 11 years as a narcotic K-9 handler, and for the last 6 years he has been assigned to investigations. Pete brings a wide range of experience to this new position. He was promoted to sergeant effective on April 1st, and he also will be assigned to one of our graveyard shifts in patrol. Congratulations. Can I have Officer Steve Morris come forward? Officer Morris has been a member of the police department for 15 years. He has spent time in both patrol and investigations. While in patrol, Steve was a field training officer and assisted in the guiding and mentoring of our new officers. And Steve has spent the last 5 years in the investigations division and following up on a wide variety of cases, including homicide investigations. Steve will be promoted effective April 21st, and he'll be assigned to one of our day shift patrol squads. Congratulations, Steve. I'll next discuss a couple of our new commander positions. We all enter law enforcement with the idea to work patrol and hopefully maybe someday be promoted to sergeant where you can continue to work patrol. But once you become a commander, that's really a mid-management position, one that takes us away from typical law enforcement towards a management and a leadership role. So I'd like Dan Figaro to come forward. Commander Figaro has been a member of the department for over 20 years. He was first hired as a specialist in 1994. He later became a jailer, and then he left the city of Renton to become a police officer with the city of Oak Harbor. About a year later, Dan returned to Renton to be one of our police officers. Dan has spent time as a field training officer. He was selected to a federal fugitive task force for several years, and then was promoted to sergeant in 2008. As a sergeant, Dan spent time in both patrol operations and investigations, and more recently has had a temporary assignment in our administrative services division conducting pre-employment background investigations. Dan was promoted to commander effective on April 1st and is assigned to our professional standards. In this position, Dan is responsible for maintaining our policy manual, grants, and internal investigations. Congratulations, Dan. Sergeant Jeff Eddy. Sergeant Eddy has been a member of the department for almost 20 years. Prior to coming to work for the City of Renton Police Department, he was a police officer for the University of Washington Police Department. As an officer, Jeff was assigned to both patrol operations, and for a couple of years, he was later selected to become a bicycle patrol officer. And in 2002, he was selected to be a field training officer. In 2004, Jeff was selected to be an instructor at the Basic Law Enforcement Academy in Burien, and he spent 6 years out there at the academy to help guide, mentor, and develop future law enforcement officers statewide. Jeff was promoted to sergeant in 2011 and has been assigned to patrol. He's been very active in our field training program, and he also instructs future field training officers throughout the state. Sergeant Eddy will be promoted to commander effective on April 21st and will be assigned to the investigations division. Congratulations. We have a new leadership position in our non-commissioned staff, and that is Stephanie Kerr, who's going to be the next manager for the Renton Police Department. So, Stephanie. Stephanie has been a member of the police department for over 10 years. She was initially hired as a part-time specialist in 2006 and later became a full-time specialist in 2009. Stephanie has been a field training officer, assisting in developing and mentoring new specialists since 2012. Stephanie was promoted to a supervisor position in 2013, and effective on May 1st, Stephanie will be promoted to manager and responsible for our staff services division. Congratulations. I'll now transition to our employee recognition. The department's employee recognition process is a bottom-up process where employees are encouraged to submit fellow employees to be recognized, and the decision is made by a department committee made up of representatives from every work group in the department. So employee of the first quarter is Officer Brian Elliott. Can you come forward? It's all right, you can clap. Brian coordinated 2 successful child sexual abuse stings in Renton in the first quarter of 2015. These types of cases are very difficult to work and require a substantial amount of coordination between the various work groups assigned to be both safe and successful. And as a result, numerous subjects were arrested and prosecuted. These are the types of cases that many people do not like to work, but Brian willingly took on this task and was very successful. Congratulations. Next is the employee of the second quarter, Cindy Parks. Cindy has always been known throughout the department as a person who is willing to drop whatever she has going to assist another work group. She has volunteered countless hours assisting with the city's neighborhood program, the Return to Renton Car Show, the annual hoop shoot, and has been a role player in department training. In her role as a community programs coordinator, Cindy is responsible for a wide variety of programs, including the Neighborhood Block Watch, security surveys for both residents and businesses. At the same time, she has received numerous compliments from our citizens for the outstanding service that she provides to the Renton community. Congratulations. We're going to skip a quarter, move to the employee of the fourth quarter, and that's Officer Matt Hohense. Over the past year, Officer Hoyensi has played an integral role in the readiness and development of new officers. Matt identified a deficiency in our post-academy training and created a program to help transition officers from the classroom of the academy to the real-world application of their training. The curriculum also successfully incorporated our department's mission, vision, and values, which will ultimately help prepare our new officers for long-term success as members of the police department. Congratulations. So now our employee of the third quarter is also our employee of the year, and that's Officer Tanush Soni. Last summer, I received this email from a citizen. On Sunday evening around 8 p.m., I was shopping at Safeway on Sunset Boulevard in the Renton Highlands. As I was walking the aisles, I noticed a uniformed officer shopping. Not thinking much of it, I continued my shopping. I ended up passing the officer again later in the store and took notice he had a young man with him about 15 years old. I overheard him asking the young teen, "Do you have eggs? Do you have cheese in the fridge at home? Go ahead and grab it. Do you need that? Okay, pick one out." The officer's basket had several pantry staples: eggs, bread, cheese, crackers, and a frozen pizza. It appeared that he was helping the young man stock his fridge and pantry at home. The officer checked out ahead of me, and in line, I observed the officer pay with his own personal card upon checkout. The entire time, the officer had a smile on his face and was extremely polite and friendly with everyone in the store and in the checkout line. I hate to infer what the officer was doing, and I maybe have completely misread the situation, but I found myself thinking about what I observed all evening. All I could imagine is the officer somehow connected with the young man and his family and noticed they were in need of food. In the current state of affairs in this country, it's great to see firsthand officers demonstrating a soft touch when we all know their job is harder and more dangerous than ever and not appreciated like it should be. Please pass along the acknowledgement and recognition for the single officer's actions, and overall, let the department know our family sees their dedication and fully supports them. So when I received that email, I was totally unaware of what had occurred. I had to ask the patrol commanders if they could find out what happened. As it turns out, Officer Soni was dispatched to a shoplift call up in the Highlands. The suspect fled on foot soon after his arrival. Officer Soni, somewhat fleet on foot, was able to catch up with this young man for shoplifting up from a store. Officer Soni soon learned that the suspect was a 15-year-old boy who was shoplifting food because he was hungry. Officer Soni took this young man to a different store and used his personal funds to purchase some groceries. Being true to the type of person Officer Soni is, he didn't tell anyone what he had just done. And this generosity would have not been known if it were not for that email that I had received from the citizen who observed it. So this act is a true reflection of Officer Soni, who he is, as an example of the dignity and that you provide to everyone that you come in contact with. So I'd like to thank you for your act of kindness and representing the Renton Police Department. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That concludes tonight's presentations. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to share a few stories of some of the good deeds our officers are doing out there. There will be a reception next door, and you're welcome to attend. So we're probably going to get a quick photo op with all the department folks. Come on up.
Family members, you're welcome to come on up front and take as many pictures as you want.
police officers are really tall, so we have to put our heads in the holes.
So many helpers. Okay.
Oh, yeah, you're supposed to be in it.
Come on up first, Amy.
Uh,
Yeah, I was like, Jane, what's going on with Jane?
10 gigabyte memory, I think.
Thanks, Chief.
I want cake.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we get to move into an exciting public hearing.
But they have to save some cake.
Yes.
That cleared the room pretty well.
Yeah, I did.
He always leaves when it's my turn.
Taught that, Amanda.
But give you maybe a minute to let it quiet down.
My neighbor wasn't here.
Oh. If I come to their event, I can't.
In Kent?
That's where they have their big festival.
Oh, it's not the one.
It starts in Renton and then they walk to. Oh, okay.
Not the one up on by Valley.
They don't do that.
For sure. Okay. Good evening. My name is Amanda Asker, and I work in the Community and Economic Development. And I'm here tonight to speak about, to give a public hearing for a street vacation on Sunset Lane, Harrington, Glenwood, and the Northeast 10th Street. It's located in the Sunset area, or little yellow star up there. So what we're talking about is the blue area that is on the map that we're looking to do a street vacation on. And the yellow area is a dedication that is a separate process. So I just wanted to show you the overall picture so you can get the full picture. But the blue is what we're discussing today for the street vacation. And then this one shows the owners. So the owners of the areas that are involved are the Renton Housing Authority and also the City of Renton. So the petition was received on February 15th. 2/3 of the abutting, actually 100% of the abutting owners have signed. So we came in as a joint petition. The right-of-way was dedicated in 1956, and there are a lot of city-owned utilities and other utilities that are located within those right-of-way and properties. So the street vacation is to support the Sunset Area Community Planned action that has been with the City of Renton, by establishing the future roadways and the right-of-ways that will provide the access to the future mixed-use development and also the Sunset Neighborhood Park. So this vacation request went out to various city departments and also to the outside agencies. There were no objections to the vacation, but however, there were several comments. The major two comments were from Surface Water Utility and Water Utility. They both have existing utility systems in the right-of-way that they would like to remain functional until the systems are relocated for the Sunset Lane roadway and utilities improvement project. So this is a picture just showing the current City of Renton utilities that are in the right-of-way. PSC was the only outside agency that commented or responded to the request, and they are in the process of working with City of Renton and other project people about obtaining a easement through that area, so they just wanted that noted that they're in the process of procuring that as well. So the recommendation from CED would be that the council approve the request to vacate with the conditions that the utilities remain operational and accessible until the relocation has been done for the utilities, and that we continue to secure the easement with PSE. So the next steps would be To place the ordinance for the street vacation on next week's agenda at council. Or we can move forward with doing an appraisal for the area to be, and then be evaluated for compensation due back to the city. But the two owners, as the Renton Housing Authority and the city of Renton, those would be the two people paying for the street vacation. So I guess we're looking for a recommendation on which way to go on this.
Just a question for
guess
staff.
we're doing-
Amanda, can you
Yeah.
clarify, if we order the appraisal now, we would just wait and get the appraisal and then come back with an ordinance?
Yes, we actually, yes. Yes. So the appraisal would need to be done, then it would go to the, I believe, a committee to determine the compensation that would need to move forward for that.
And then it would come back in the form of a committee report.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Corman.
I guess does staff have a preference? Is one way easier, more efficient than the other to do this?
The first one with the ordinance going to placing the ordinance on for reading for next week would be the preference. It will help continue the project on its project path and plan, and this is, something that we've been working on.
okay.
Yeah. This is a critical point to move the project forward.
Okay. Seems reasonable.
Any other questions of Amanda? Okay, this is a public hearing. We don't have anybody signed up to testify. Is there anybody that had a desire to testify on this topic?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Prince.
I move we close the public hearing.
Second?
It's been moved by Mr. Prince, second by Mr. Corman, that we close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Prince.
I move that the council place the ordinance to vacate the right-of-way for first reading on next week's agenda.
Second?
Been moved by Mr. Prince, second by Mr. Corman, the council place the ordinance for first reading in next week's council meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks, Amanda. Katie, you're welcome to go to the reception. We have Howard here, so we're covered.
We're safe.
Okay, moving on to.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr.
Yeah, I'd
Corman.
just like to say, though, great job moving the sunset improvements along. It's exciting.
It is pretty exciting when you go out there and see what's happening, and
Yeah.
so that's great.
Terrific.
Okay, moving on to administrative report, Mr. Covington.
Mr. Mayor, the only item that I have really is just another update again on our road improvement projects. And most of these projects are a continuation. We've briefed those before, just to remind people as they see people in the street to use caution and just respect the fact that people are in the road and be very careful as you drive around. I would say that there are two areas where we'll be. We're coming up on the Fun Seahawk 12K run this coming Sunday. And so during this week, they'll be in the area doing some street sweeping along Lake Washington Boulevard and other things in preparation for that. And then on Sunday, we'll actually have parts of Lake Washington Boulevard and portions of Park Avenue North closed during the run itself. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. We don't have anybody signed up for audience comments, so moving on to consent agenda, we have 11 items for council consideration. Are there any items that council member would like pulled for discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Corman.
I move approval of the consent agenda as published.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Corman, second by Mr. Pavoni, that the consent agenda be approved as published. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Unfinished business, Mr. Corman.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have a committee of the whole report to present.
This committee report is regarding Lodging Tax Advisory Committee review of Visitor Center funding. The Committee of the Whole recommends concurrence in the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee recommendation to approve the $75,000 request by the Renton Chamber of Commerce for lodging tax funds to operate the Renton Visitor Center for 2016, and this is signed by the Council President.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Corman.
I move the council approve the committee report.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Corman, seconded by Mr. Pavoni, that council concur with the Committee of the Whole report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. I want to thank the Chamber, and Vicki Baxter is here for responding to all the questions that the council had in regards to this, so, and thanks to the council for moving on that this week. Okay, next is Mr. Prince.
No unfinished business.
Okay, Ms. Witchy,
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. McIrvin.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Perez?
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Pavoni?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the Finance Committee has 3 committee reports to be read.
Okay, the first Finance Committee report is regarding approval of claims and payroll vouchers. The Finance Committee approves for payment on April 11th, 2016, claims vouchers 346003 through 346302, 4 wire transfers, and 1 payroll run with benefit withholding payments totaling $4,782,477.72, and payroll vouchers including 747 direct deposits and 54 payroll checks totaling $1,619,671.30. And this is signed by the committee vice chair and member.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Pavoni?
I move that the council concur with the finding of the Finance Committee.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Pavoni, seconded by Ms. Perez, that council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
This committee report is regarding the Sunset Neighborhood Park Phase 1 Consultant Services Contract. The Finance Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to award the Consultant Services Contract Agreement to Hugh, Beck, and Baird Incorporated in the amount of $338,214.65 to prepare design and construction documents for Phase 1 of the Sunset Neighborhood Park. Funding is budgeted in the Capital Improvement Fund under Sunset EIS Park. The committee further recommends that the mayor and city clerk be authorized to execute the contract agreement, and this is signed by the committee vice chair and member.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Pavoni?
Yeah, I would like to say that this is, along with what Councilman Corman said earlier, moving the Sunset Project forward. This is the Phase 1, or the basically the redefined Phase 1. And so with that, I move that the council concur with the committee report.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Pavoni, seconded by Ms. Perez, that council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay, the final Finance Committee report is regarding the resolution to approve JOC Work Order Proposal Number 69. The Finance Committee recommends concurrence with the staff recommendation to approve the JOC Work Order Proposal Number 69 for the remodel of the lobby and open office area of the Renton History Museum. Work Order Number 69 is in the amount of $95,418.58 and will draw from a certain account specified in the report. The committee further recommends that the mayor and city clerk be authorized to sign the work order. And this is signed by the committee vice chair and member.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Pavoni?
In committee, we were told that the lobby hadn't been renovated in over 30 years. With that, I ask that the council, I move that the council concur with the Finance Committee report.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Pavoni, seconded by Ms. Perez, that council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, thanks, Megan. Moving on to resolutions and ordinances. We have one ordinance for second and final reading.
Okay, this ordinance is regarding the biennial budget adjustment. Amendment, the ordinance of the City of Renton, Washington, amending the City of Renton fiscal years 2015-2016 biennial budget as adopted by Ordinance 5737 and thereafter amended by Ordinance numbers 5755, 5764, and 5777 in the amount of $85,923,795.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Pavoni?
I move that the ordinance be adopted as read.
Second?
It's been moved by Mr. Pavoni, seconded by Mr. Corman, that this ordinance be adopted as read. Requires a roll call.
Mr. Corman?
Aye.
Mr. Prince?
Aye.
Ms. Witchy?
Aye.
Mr. Person? Mr. McGurven?
Aye.
Ms. Perez?
Aye.
Mr. Pavoni?
Aye.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, all ayes.
Guys have it. Thank you very much. Moving on to new business. Mr. Corman?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to announce a committee of the whole meeting, for April 18th. That's a Monday, 5:30 p.m. In the conferencing center. two items on that agenda. The first is solid waste contract with Republic Services, and the second item is regional issues, briefing on ST3 for comment letter, Renton rep for East Side Rail Corridor Advisory Committee. So that'll be interesting.
Okay.
Oh, and then really quickly, while I have the floor, I just wanted to say Councilwoman Witch and I had the extreme pleasure of really representing all of us in our sister city delegation to Nishiwaki. And the citizens of Nishiwaki, just like past times, are just the most warm, kind, generous people that you can imagine. Showed the entire delegation, the sister city delegation, a tremendous time showing how beautiful their city is, how talented the individuals there are. Talked about their future plans. Showed us around some neighboring cities like Kyoto, and we got to see Himeji Castle. They're sending along a gift they'd presented to us, a painting of Himeji Castle that I hope we display somewhere in the council chambers. We will have a complete presentation slideshow. I think many people have already found many of Ms. Witchy's pictures and some of my own on Facebook. So great time. A reminder that everybody on the delegation traveled on their own funds. But it was a really great opportunity, and certainly our hosts were extraordinarily generous. Special appreciation to you, Mr. Mayor. They all remember you very fondly and sent their warm regards. Especially, they remembered you coming out with Denny Docknall and not too long ago. So maybe Carol Ann may wish to add to that when it comes to her turn.
When are they coming here? 2019?
Oh, yeah, good. Great point. Yeah, their plan is for 3 years from now. That'll be the 50th anniversary of our relationship with Nishiwaki. So I think
We should start preparing now.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up with them.
I know.
They just treat you like royalty. And it's great that the two of you represented the city. That's very nice. And I know it means a lot to them to have you there. So thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Mr. Prince?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, before I move on to my stuff, I just wanted to mention on the briefing we're getting on Sound Transit 3 next week. It's important, I think, for public to come out and make their voices heard and voice their opinion on what they'd like to see in Sound Transit 3. I think that's going to be vitally important. It's going to be on the ballot, and I think Sound Transit needs to hear from the residents of Renton on what we think and what we'd like to see.
Mr. Prince, if I could just add to that, in addition to the briefing at the Committee of the Whole, Sound Transit will also be giving a presentation at the council meeting, so members of the public will be able to see that televised and come in and perhaps comment during the audience comment and provide the Sound Transit folks with their opinions on the proposed plan. So council will get briefed during Committee of the Whole and be able to ask questions then, and the public will have an opportunity to provide input at the council meeting next week.
All right, so I've got a Development Committee meeting to announce on April 14th, Thursday at 3 p.m. We've got a Planning and Development Committee in the council conference room. We have 4 items on the agenda. Number 1, code interpretations. Number 2, docket 11, downtown business district boundaries. Number 3, emerging issues. And number 4, City Center Community Plan Advisory Board recommended priorities for 2016. And that's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Witchy.
Yes, the Community Services Committee will be meeting this Thursday, April 14th at 4 p.m. The topic of discussion will be the Sunset Neighborhood Plan grant applications briefing. So once again, keeping the ball moving forward on such an important project.
Okay, thank you. Mr. McGurran?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, there'll be a Utilities Committee meeting on Monday, April 18th at 3:30 p.m. in the council conference room. There are 3 items on the agenda, all related to water. The first is a water briefing. The second is a surface water briefing. And the third is a Cedar River maintenance agreement. That is all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Perez?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On Monday, April 18 at 4:30, we will have a Transportation Committee on the Council Conference Room. There are 2 items in the agenda: temporary road closure at North 3rd Street and Logan Avenue, North intersection, and the second will be emerging issues in transportation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Pavoni?
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, what's the wish of the council?
Move we adjourn?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Prince, second by Mr. Corman, that we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.